private sector and development partners will be required to initiate deliberate programs and projects that economically empower youths through job creation and entrepreneurship. The National Youth Empowerment Strategy will also serve as an implementation tool for the National Development Strategy 2 through mainstreaming of youth issues in the National Development Agenda. The proposed National Youth Empowerment Strategy is informed by national legal frameworks which seek to promote youth empowerment, including the Constitution of Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe Youth Council Act, and the National Youth Policy, and the strategy is a product of extensive consultations with the private sector, development partners, and youth groups aimed at addressing the challenges faced by the young people. The government of Zimbabwe is committed to empowering the youth demographic through ensuring access to education and training, political participation, economic opportunities, recreational facilities, and protection from harmful practices. The strategy recognizes both youth in school and out of school, aligning with existing Ministry of Youth programs that cater for both segments. The National Youth Empowerment Strategy comprises of 5 main pillars, namely economic empowerment, technology and digital transformation, education and skills development, governance, and health and well-being. There are also 3 supporting cross-cutting pillars, and these are climate change adaptation and mitigation, gender equality and inclusivity, and governance, coordination, and partnerships. Under each pillar, the strategy document provides details on the strategic objectives and suggested interventions that will be employed in order to attain the set pillars. The National Youth Empowerment Strategy is supported by monitoring and evaluation framework, an implementation matrix, as well as a communication plan. The monitoring and evaluation plan will be utilized to assess the performance of programs, policies, and projects implemented by ministries, departments, and agencies, and other stakeholders in support of the strategy. The youth will be involved at every stage of the monitoring and evaluation process, whilst a comprehensive communication plan will raise awareness, engage stakeholders, and ensure transparency. The plan will incorporate local languages and culturally relevant content with a view to reaching marginalized groups. The strategy also complemented by a resource needs and mobilization plan will identify and mobilize essential financial, human, and material resources required to support the various youth initiatives, including those aimed at the inclusion of the marginalized members of the youth. Cabinet approved the hosting of the African Women Leaders Network 7th Intergenerational Retreat. The African Women Leaders Retreat, which is a flagship initiative jointly established by the African Union and the United Nations, wholly dedicated to enhancing women's participation in leadership in line with the African Union's Agenda 2063 and the United Nations Agenda 2030. The 7th Intergenerational Retreat provides an opportunity for the African Women Leaders Network to formally recognize Zimbabwe's demonstrated support for women's leadership, evidenced by the constitutional requirements mandating equal rights and opportunities for women in all spheres. The retreat seeks to promote intergenerational dialogue between women leaders and young women and share experiences and strategies for advancing gender equality and women empowerment. The network also seeks to strengthen African women leaders to enhance collaboration on policy advocacy, governance, and peace building. Furthermore, the retreat will develop actionable plans to address emerging challenges affecting women's leadership and empowerment in Africa. It will further enhance the country's visibility as a champion of gender equality and women's leadership, positioning Zimbabwe as a thought leader on the African continent. The retreat provides an opportunity to showcase Zimbabwe's progress on gender equality, thereby attracting potential partnerships and investments from international development organizations, as well as boost local economic activities, particularly in the tourism and hospitality sectors. Cabinet also received reports on the priority projects for the second 100-day cycle of 2025. Under the Human Capital Development pillar in terms of NDS 1, the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education highlighted the following achievements under his purview: the registration of 60 schools across the country, the construction of administration blocks at the following schools, which is progressing well, at Rio Zim High School in Mashonaland West Province, Globe and Phonics Primary School in Kwekwe Midlands Province, which is ongoing. The construction works to upgrade Kundai High School in Mashonaland Central Province, which is now complete and is awaiting commissioning, whilst the works at the following schools are at an advanced stage: Jerera Primary School in Zaka Masvingo Province, Tsanzaguru Primary School in Makoni, and Beulah Toronto Primary School in Mtasa Manicaland Province, Gangarawe Primary School in Urungwe, and Kureza Primary School in Sanyati in Mashonaland West Province. The construction of laboratories at the following schools is at an advanced stage: at St. Francis in Mangwe and Mtetengwa Primary School in Beitbridge, Matabeleland South Province, Ingwalo Secondary School in Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, Nembudzia Government Secondary School in the Midlands Province, Dine Primary School in Mwenezi Masvingo Province, AMR Convent Secondary School in Lupane, and John Bosco Secondary School in Matabeleland North Province. The construction works in terms of sustainable and affordable boarding facilities at Colin Bond Secondary School in Gwanda, Matabeleland South Province have been completed, whilst works at the following schools are nearing completion: Chibua High School in Chipinge, Manicaland Province, Marist Brothers High School in Wange, Chabanda High School, and Kumbula High School in Cholocho, Matabeleland North Province. The Minister of Skills Audit and Development also highlighted the following achievements under the Human Capital Development pillar in terms of NDS 1. Training needs assessments were conducted in 5 wards in Binga District, Matabeleland North Province, in the following areas: Sena Pambe in Ward 3, Saba Lubanda in Ward 13, Chibila in Ward 22, Kabula in Ward 17, and Skalenge in Ward 6. The review of skills development policies was undertaken, and key findings will be presented before Cabinet. A framework for digital database in terms of retired professionals and experts has been developed, while the population in terms of the information in the database is in progress. In terms of the youth, sports, and culture pillar in terms of NDS 1, the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, who is also the Acting Minister of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, highlighted the following achievements: site preparation for the construction of the Oliver Juru multi-purpose court in Goromonzi District, Mashonaland East Province is underway. Work is in progress to refurbish the National Sports Stadium in Harare Metropolitan Province, with buckets having been installed and installation of a new draining system for the new turf having been completed. whilst the refurbishment of the wrestling ring in Warren Park in Harare Metropolitan Province is underway. Other ongoing projects include the following: the establishment of the Shangwe Culture Center in Midlands Province, the Amabiza community-based cultural heritage inventory in Bolilima, Matabeleland South Province, the refurbishment of the National Gallery of Zimbabwe in Harare Metropolitan Province, and the development of a cultural village in Murewa, Mashonaland East Province is progressing well. Under the Environment Protection, Climate Resilience, and Natural Resources Management pillar in terms of NDS1, the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife highlighted the following achievements under her purview: the rehabilitation of 50 hectares under the Malila Ngombe wetland and the restoration and protection project in Senengu village, Ward 23 in Matobo district, has reached 95% in terms of completion. The establishment of a 1 hectare orchard at Inyangui GZI Primary School in Mashonaland East Province has reached 85% in terms of completion. Other ongoing projects include the fencing of the Chipinge Safari Game in Manicaland Province, the rehabilitation of a 2 hectare wetland at Mazembe Wetland Restoration and Protection in Mazembe Village in Zimbabwe, Midlands Province, and the construction of the Chitindiva Necessary Office in Urungwe, Mashonaland West Province is ongoing. Cabinet considered and approved the principles in terms of the amendment of the Zimbabwe National Family Planning Council Act, Chapter 15.11. The review of the Zimbabwe National Family Planning Council Act will enhance its effectiveness and relevance by aligning it with current realities in the reproductive health and family planning, particularly addressing the needs of adolescents and the youth. The current realities include evolving health needs, demographic issues, updated policies that reflect unique reproductive health needs for different population subgroups and communities, gender equality and rights-based approaches, technological advancements, increased demand of services, male involvement in sexual reproductive health issues, and the rise of non-communicable diseases. Additionally, harmonizing the Act with global, regional, and national commitments like the SDGs, International Conference on Population and Development, Family Planning 2030 Vision 2030, and the Public Entities and Corporate Governance Act will strengthen governance, accountability, and quality assurance in service delivery. Cabinet also received a report on His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa's visit to Mozambique on the occasion of the handover in terms of the Zim aid donation. His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, visited Chimoio, Mozambique on the 9th of August 2025 to officially hand over humanitarian assistance to the government and the people of Mozambique following the devastation caused by tropical cyclone Chido. In his remarks, His Excellency the President reaffirmed the historical bonds of solidarity between the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Republic of Mozambique, rooted in the liberation struggle and strengthened through cooperation in times of adversity. His Excellency Dr. Daniel Chapo expressed gratitude for Zimbabwe's gesture of solidarity and added that Zimbabwe has also shown support through the donation of grains to the victims of terrorist activities in Cabo Delgado in 2022. The two presidents also held bilateral discussions centering on strengthening cooperation between the two sister republics. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for presenting today's cabinet highlights. We now move to the first round of 3 questions. Then we'll ask honorable ministers to respond. Over to you, colleagues. Yes.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Mokudze Chingwere from the Herald. My question is directed to the Minister of Information. You gave an update about the progress at the National Sports Stadium. When can we expect this stadium to be ready to host international matches? Also, I have another question to the Minister of Skills Audit. Prof. Ayed, you talked about the retired skill force. I have two questions. What are the primary objectives of the newly presented framework for retired skilled individuals? And what specific skills do you expect to see utilized from the retired individuals?
Thank you very much. Yes.
Abigail Tembo from ZBC News. Mine is to the Minister of Women Affairs. According to the report, the retreat emphasizes intergenerational dialogue. How would this translate into tangible opportunities for young women in Zimbabwe? And also, are there any specific mentorship or leadership pipelines being developed to connect current women leaders with the next generation? And then the one on the issue of infrastructure construction on primary and secondary education, how do these infrastructure developments fit into the ministry's broader strategy under NDS 1? And then are we on target towards meeting the target set in as far as schools construction is concerned? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. The second question, I will refer to the Minister, Professor Mavima, to respond.
Thank you. Regarding the framework, as asked by Mukudze Chingwere, the purpose of the framework really is to have a digital platform. Our people within the ministry, our ICT experts, have come up with this framework. And this framework provides for the database daily to be created. And that creation of the database is what is going on now, where we are getting details about these retired experts to what areas of expertise do they have, their availability if called upon to come and help. The specific skills that will be interested in are the skills areas where we have shortages. You know that in 2018, when we did a skills audit, we found out that we're operating at 32% skills base. We have almost confirmed the same through the extensive consultations that we carried out last year, that we have serious shortages, especially in the areas such as medicine, in the various areas of agriculture, including agronomists, including engineers, then the engineering skills across the board. We have serious shortages there. So we want to have a situation where those who have retired and are available can be called upon to come and help the nation in our development agenda. This is what is happening across the globe. A lot of countries are calling on their senior citizens who have retired to continue to contribute to the development of those specific nations, and we want to do the same in Zimbabwe. Honorable Minister, I don't know whether you wanted also for me to address the stadium issue, or that you would. What we have been informed in Cabinet is that the bucket seats are complete. They have been done, and the work on the drainage is ongoing, but we understand that it will be done very soon. We hear that maybe by next week they will be already rebuilding the turf in terms of putting the grass, the natural grass, onto the field. So we are expecting that the stadium should be ready in a few weeks from now, because the work on actually putting the natural grass on the turf is starting next week, which means the drainage system has already been done. And that was the major issue as far as after the bucket seats issue, the drainage issue was the major issue that had to be dealt with. I thank you, Chair.
Okay. Question number 3 from Abigail Tembo to the Minister of Women Affairs, Honorable Monica Mtrangwa. Honorable Mtrangwa, you can respond.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I would like to thank Abigail Tembo from ZBC for that very important question. And I want to say the main objective of the 7th Intergenerational Retreat of the African Women's Leaders Network is really to create a platform where there are opportunities for intergenerational dialogue. It is important to make sure that the younger generation understand and also get inspired by those who have been holding positions in the whole of the continent. This is an initiative which was done by the Africa Union and also United Nations. For us as a country to host this, it gives us great pleasure, because that shows that Zimbabwe, through our astute leadership of the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, we have really shown commitment to gender equality and women empowerment. So what would be happening during that time, we'll be having very influential women in Africa coming to Zimbabwe, and also some coming from the diaspora. I can just mention a few that will be having women, powerful African women like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who is the former president of Liberia. We'll also be having women like Dr. Pumuzile Mlambo-Nguka from South Africa, and we all know she was the vice president at one time, and she also became the executive director of the UN Women at the New York head office. So there are many more other influential women. It gives an opportunity for the young caucus of the All Africa, all women of Africa. They have to learn and understand where these women are coming from. What are the challenges? How did they overcome them? And for us as a country, it's an opportunity to really showcase what President Mnangagwa has done to make sure that there is gender equality and women empowerment in this country. In fact, just to let you know, this platform also will actually honor our President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, as a champion in eliminating violence against women and girls. And we know that we have put up a lot of laws against gender-based violence. We are working hard, coming up with policies and strategies as a ministry, as a whole government approach, to make sure that we respond to gender-based violence as quickly as we can. So this is a great opportunity for the African Women's Leaders Network to have chosen Zimbabwe to host this very important. It will give an opportunity to a lot of our women in this country, those both in leadership in public sector and also those women in private sector. This is what I call the benchmark, which we want the best practices being brought closer to our young women. They should understand how do they deal with challenges in leadership, how do they become political leaders, how do they become CEOs of big corporate companies, and what kind of challenges should they look out for, and how should they encounter them. So these are some of the issues which will be dealt with. We'll also be dealing with issues of governance, policy advocacy, peace building, and just enhancing collaboration among women and taking a leaf from those who have done very well. I want to end with that.
Thank you, Honorable Mchangwa. The last question is to the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of construction that is taking place across the country, in terms of school development.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I wish to thank Abigail Temple for such an important question on infrastructural developments. There are a number of infrastructural developments that are happening in Zimbabwe, and we need to commend our President, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, for those massive projects. We are building schools, we are refurbishing classrooms, we are also building low-cost accommodation, boarding facilities, teachers' houses. All that is done to ensure that we provide quality, equitable, relevant education, which must be inclusive, which should take everyone on board. And that is a way of realizing the national trajectory, the vision of the President, Vision 2030. How are we going to achieve Vision 2030? It will be realized through a number of priority projects according to the National Development Strategy 1, and also starting from next year, National Development Strategy 2. And one key area we are prioritizing is the school construction. We are seized with that matter. In 2022, we had a deficit of 3,000 schools, but we have seen many schools mushrooming in both urban and rural areas. But we are mainly focusing on the marginalized areas, the underprivileged rural areas, and it is critical for us to provide these schools. Why? Because we want the walking distance or traveling distance of our students to be in line with international norms, international conventions. We state that students should not walk for more than 5 kilometers to their nearest school. And in 2025, we are going to construct more than 120 schools. We've seen new schools emerging. As I'm speaking, we have 2 schools which have been completed in Shamba district. Each school has more than 14 classrooms that have been built. Both schools are awaiting commissioning by our President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa. We have built schools in all the 10 provinces. So government is prioritizing school construction. We received a lot of support to the tune of 42 billion, which will be earmarked towards school construction and also other overhead costs for the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. The issue of STEM, again, is important, where we are constructing laboratories, both science laboratories and computer laboratories. Because with STEM education, we want our students to envision a future which is bright, a future where we are focusing our students to select subjects like engineering and many others that are important in national development. That is important to realize the national trajectory, to realize Vision 2030. So in terms of the targets, yes, we are on course to fulfilling or to meeting our targets. By 2030, we should have dealt with the issue of school deficit. We should be able, if we are able to construct 125 schools this year, It means next year we target more than 200 schools. And by the time we get to 2028, we should have met our target. And we are not only relying on government support, we also want individuals to invest in the education field. We also want partners through public-private partnership to build schools. So I'm aware of more than 15 schools that have been completed, that we have already registered in Mashingo, in Mashonaland Central. Many individuals are doing a lot in terms of school construction. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ministers, for responding to those questions. Let us move to the last round, again of 3 questions. Yes, Madam.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Rumbidzai Zinyoke from the Herald. My question is directed to the Minister of Health. What are some of the gaps and challenges in the current ZNFPC Act that prompted the need for the amendment, and how will this amended Act promote integration of family planning services with HIV prevention, maternal health, and other primary care healthcare services? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Abigail Temple.
Abigail Temple from ZBC. On the National Youth Empowerment Strategy, you mentioned that ministries and departments, as well as local authorities and the private sector, will all have a role. How will their contributions be coordinated and monitored?
The last question. Who could say you are happy? Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. I will refer the first question in terms of what are the challenges in terms of the current Zimbabwean National Family Planning Act, and how best can the challenges be alleviated. Over to you, Dr. Mambeshori.
Thank you very much, Rumbidzai, for that question. Obviously, the question looks simple, but it's very, very broad because there are so many issues that are going to be addressed by the amendments. But firstly, this is an act which was promulgated on the 1st of August, 1985. So it's very outdated, and we talk of Zimbabwe National Family Planning Act. And the first thing that we want to deal with is the change from the family planning to population planning, because family planning tends to imply a limited scope of work for the council, and mainly dealing with, if you say family planning, it's really to say limiting people on the number of children that they have. And yet now when we talk of population planning, it involves a lot. And the act which is currently existing does not really address the issue of adolescents and young people. It does not involve men in the population planning. So the new amendments should be inclusive, and we would want to concentrate more on adolescent health, adolescents and youth. So amendments to various sections will include involvement of communities, and also emphasizing on primary health care in terms of managing the population, because population demographics have become very crucial in terms of development. Also, this means we're going to change the name. That's the first thing that we're going to do in that amendment. We want to change the name from Zimbabwe National Family Planning to Zimbabwe National Population Planning, so that it then encompasses all these other issues. The current act does not really deal much with communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. As we now know, there are a lot of issues involving fertility, where chronic non-communicable diseases have an impact in terms of fertility. We are also including investigations to be done by the council to investigate and manage issues of infertility. So we are actually dealing with the issue or doing away with this thinking of that when you say family planning, it's really limiting having children. So there are quite a number of issues that are going to be addressed by the new amendments to that act. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mombeshora. Abigail Tembo. The National Youth Empowerment Strategy is a result of stakeholder consultations. It is all inclusive. That's the first issue. And it has got very clear pillars, which is governance, economic empowerment, education and skills, digital and technology transformation, health and well-being. These are the 5 key pillars. And outside that, there are other cross-cutting areas of interest and sectors that intertwine within the 5 pillars, such as climate change and adaptation. But also of great importance is that there is a monitoring and evaluation framework that is also inclusive, also utilizing members of the youth as part of an inclusive self-evaluation strategy. So this will then be in a position to assess performance in terms of policy, in terms of projects, and also in terms of the general performance in terms of the National Youth Empowerment Strategy. So it's an all-inclusive strategy that includes development partners and private sector partners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ministers, for responding to those questions. We've come to the end of today's post-cabinet press briefing. Thank you very much.